So trauma-informed coaching and how it can help you is very, very simple. You have to attack the mind, the body, and the soul at the same time in the right way so that it's not overwhelming.
Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side, my love.
What is going on, everyone? I hope you're having a fantastic day. Today we're talking about trauma-informed coaching, and that is the new thing that my company have been able to design to move away from the traditional therapy, counselling sort of business, moving into more high-ticket coaching. Now, the biggest difference for you is that it's the whole stigma around therapy, counselling, that people don't like therapy and counselling. Now, I'm speaking mainly to you guys, okay, because there's such a stigma around guys going to get help, going to get therapy, going to talk about your feelings. Okay, now I understand a very typical man doesn't want to sit down and talk about their feelings. I get that. I don't know many men who do like doing that, okay, but that doesn't mean that you can't talk about your feelings and you can't talk about the way that you feel and, you know, things like that. So maybe you aren't going to sit down and talk about, oh yeah, this made me sad and that made me sad. It's a bit like, okay, so why are you feeling so crap all the time? I'll be completely honest with you. The reason that I do the things that I do is because I was in the position that you were in. And it frustrates me so much when I see people who are in a bad position, in a bad way, and aren't getting help because of the stigma, mainly because of the stigma around mental health and what it does and how it helps and how it doesn't help and all of that jazz. I just don't think it's very fair that, you know, a whole gender is excluded from having therapy and counselling because they have been told that they can't do it for such a long period of time. There's a lot of things I do agree with, and there's a lot of things I don't agree with this whole new gender stuff coming forward. I think one of the biggest benefits of the LGBTQ+ community is that you guys are making people see that there is more to life than, you know, just typical male and female people. Now, because and I'll tell you why. So because the typical male and female split that we've had for hundreds of years is, you know, very barbaric in the way of, you know, the women must do this and the men must do this, and the men can't do this and the women can't do this. I'd never liked that, because I've met a lot of women who can outlift me, who can outperform me, and who can do, you know, so many things that I can't because they're a woman, and I think that's absolutely fantastic. And I hate the fact that there are hierarchies with gender and the hierarchies with all these different things. So I'm very glad that this LGBTQ+ push has, you know, broken down the gender norms in terms of what people are and people aren't allowed to do. Now, we all went through COVID. There's not a single person on this planet who didn't experience COVID in some way, shape or form to the point where it annoyed them. Now through COVID, mental health conditions went up by like 98%, something ridiculous. It was awful. Now, people haven't recovered from that. It may have been years ago now, but people haven't recovered and people haven't sought the help that they needed to get in the first place when COVID was going forward. So this is your opportunity to go and get help, okay? Now, the reason that we've designed trauma-informed coaching is simply for that reason and that reason alone, is to get people the help that don't want to have therapy and have counselling, okay? Because I know it is, even like my friends and stuff, it's very frowned upon, you know. When I remember when I was going through all my stuff and I was having therapy on a regular basis, people told me, you know, it wasn't, oh, you know, just get on with it, just, No, I actually had one of my really good friends, to be fair. We were joking about it, but I did take this to heart a little bit. He turned around and he said, "I'll just drink a beer and get on with your life like the rest of us do." Because I'm a very open person, I talk about my feelings to people, and I talk about the things that are going on in my life to people, because I know that having a voice is so important. And he just turned around to me and said, "I'll just drink a beer and get on with life." And that's what I'm trying to change. I hate the fact that people have that opinion about life these days, and they think, oh yeah, just drink and get on with it. That's not what life is. It's not what life's about. Just because at the end of the day, all you're doing is putting a mask on the situation. You're putting a band-aid over the open wound, and that's not going to help you fix the wound at all in the slightest. Mental health conditions are the same as any physical condition. You need time off work, you need to take rest, you need to give your body the nutrition and the water and all the stuff that it needs to be able to function properly. I hate when people are depressed and anxious and stuff, and they just treat it like it's normal. It's not normal. You shouldn't be depressed, you shouldn't be anxious, and if you are, something's going wrong and you need to change it. It's as simple as that. So trauma-informed coaching is a very full body holistic approach to mind, body and soul in ways that you've probably never even imagined. Now, like I say, because this is so new, because this is something that's not been done anywhere else in the world, I am keeping it very much under wraps. If you want to know more, obviously please get in contact and we'll be able to support you. Mental health coach, a life coach and a personal training coach. They're the 3 coaches that you'll have. And it's extremely important that you have these 3 coaches, because you've got one for the mind, one for the body and one for the soul. Because if you don't look after all 3 things simultaneously, then subsequently one is going to be an issue. I've got a friend at the moment who's going through some mental health stuff, and he isn't doing anything for it, nothing at all, nothing for the mind, nothing for the body, nothing for the soul. He's just but again, he's a very typical bloke. He's raised in a very typical household. He has those very oldie worldy values in terms of, men must do this, women should do that, men must do this, I can't do this, I can't do that. And I try to break through to him so often, but it's just, you cannot help people who don't want to be helped. It's just as simple as that, unfortunately. I've got another friend, again, who's going through a lot of mental health stuff, but he's very openly talking to me about everything, and he always says at the end of the talk how much better it is. But again, he's a very typical sort of bloke in terms of, men should do this, women should do this, hates feminism, hates feminists. Honestly, for one point in my life, I thought he hated women. He's going through a lot of stuff, but then also he does the mind, the body and the soul. He does everything because he knows how important it is. And so, I applaud him for that. He's absolutely fantastic. I actually have a training video with him coming out in a week or 2. He's a fantastic bloke. And so, yeah, that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to provide legitimate, genuine help to people who need it, because the people who need it need everything. And it's, everybody thinks, okay, yeah, and I've said this before because it really grinds my gears. You have a physical issue. If you have an issue, you go to the doctors, and the doctor sometimes turns around and says, I don't know what to do. There's nothing I can do. You go to the doctor, and because you have an issue of some description, whether it's mental, physical, and the doctor will say, okay, you're depressed, go on antidepressants. Okay, you're anxious, go on these anti-anxiety medication. Okay, you've got a physical problem, here's some pain medication. And that is just putting a mask over the situation. It's not fixing your issue. It's not, and it really pisses me off. So I've been through it. I have to make my hospital video. I've been saying it, I need to do it for a long time. So I was hospitalised for a mental health condition from a physical standpoint. So I was left almost unable to walk due to physical pain, and I went and had all the doctors tell me that there's nothing they can do for me. I'm perfectly healthy 21-year-old boy. That blew my mind, and that's what started this whole phase. Now, taking a step further from that, my cousin has just gone through a very, very similar thing in terms of her mental health, and she's been to the doctors, and the doctors said there's nothing we can do for you. It's a psychosomatic problem. Now, she's just closed her mind off completely to the whole situation, and she just thinks that there's no answer to it. And that makes me really, really sad, because there is an answer to it, and she is now left completely unable to walk, completely. And it's she's on crutches, and it's so sad to see, because she's not opened her mind to the possibility that if she were to just get some mental health support, then she'd be able to walk again. And that is what it is. The mind and the body and the soul are so interconnected in such a way that you would never believe, that until you almost go through an experience like this, you almost don't believe it. I've had a lot of people turn around and say that I'm lying and stuff, and that I haven't been through the things that I've been through. And it's just like, why in God's name would I lie this much about the same thing? It just, for what? You know, for what possible purpose? For my millions of followers that give me thousands of pounds every day. It's just not what I've wanted to be. It's not, and you know, I've never wanted to take advantage of anybody, and I've never wanted to put out illegitimate truth about online about myself, my family, my friends, or anything that goes on in any of lives. I really don't see the point, and it angers me so when people, you know, make money off of other people's knowledgeability. You know, like, prime example, when bodybuilders claim they're natural but then they take steroids so that they can look good, so that people buy from them, so that people buy their programs because they want to look like that, when they're never going to look like that because they're on all of the PEDs and they're on all of the steroids. You know, that really annoys me. But yeah, trauma-informed coaching is going to change the world. I'm confident it is as soon as it's rolled out. We've been some big talks with some big people with wellness activities and different wellness boot camps and different things like that to actually get the word out and actually help people in ways that, like I say, you would never even fathom of trying to do yourself. So trauma-informed coaching and how it can help you is very, very simple. You have to attack the mind, the body and the soul at the same time in the right way so that it's not overwhelming. And it's all bundled up in one nice neat little course with the same people that you can trust. And that is what I've always wanted to be able to create. And I'm so thankful that everybody, now that I'm in the connections with the right people doing the right things, and I'm actually able to do the things that I've always wanted to do for the past few years. You know, it takes a few years to get going, but I'm glad I'm here. So trauma-informed coaching is going to change the world. It's absolutely incredible what we've been able to do and what we've been able to create. And it's not only for a course, or you know, you come on with us and you come on, you get better and you leave again, because that's something that's always annoyed me about counselling, is that people come on, they join, they get better, then they stop counselling and then they get worse again. That's always bothered me. So what we do is we have built something called the emotional toolbox. Every emotional toolbox is going to be different to each individual client and their individual needs, your individual needs. And your emotional toolbox is something you can keep for the rest of your life, and that you can pull a tool out of the box and you can use it when you get triggered or you regress, because it's going to happen at some point. And the knowledge that we have and the knowledge that we can give you is going to put you on the best step for you to be able to thrive throughout your entire life, rather than just surviving, going through day to day, feeling like crap, looking like crap, you know, everybody telling you look like crap. And there's nothing worse than that. Nothing worse than you feeling like crap and somebody else validating that opinion, because at the end of the day, we're all amazingly special individuals and we all deserve to be the best version of ourselves. And if you aren't the best version of yourself, then get support. It's as simple as that. Don't look at it like, oh, you know, I've got to go get counselling. It's like, no, I get to change my life around. I get to become somebody that I've never been able to be before. It's like an investment, like a car. You know, I know loads of people who have got mental health issues, physical issues. You know, a new client was going to sign on with me last month, right? And he turned around and he said no because of money issues. A week later, he booked a holiday, 2-week holiday to Spain. And it's just like, okay, it's clearly not a money issue if you've got the money to go to Spain. It's a mindset issue in terms of investment. You don't see the investment you're going to make into yourself. And when he understood that, he ended up signing up anyway. So you have to realize that yourself, guys. It's an investment into yourself. It's as simple as that. It's not anything else. You know, it's investment into tools and into knowledge and into understanding of what is best to do for your life, when best to do it, how best to do it, and how you're actually going to be able to go about the rest of your life, because you don't want to be feeling like crap for the rest of your life. You just don't. Nobody does. I know nobody does. But that's mental health coaching. If you want to know anything more, please do not hesitate to get in contact with me, and I'll be able to give you some more in depth of what we do, how we can help, and all these different things. And other than that, you guys have a fantastic day, and I shall see you in the next one.